Right then, before we get started, there's one thing I want to know. Drop it in the comments below. How many times do you think you have watched that Emi Buendia goal back since Saturday? Honestly, myself, I reckon at least 150, 200 times. No exaggeration, with all the different angles, all the different music, Titanic music, over the top. It just gets better every single time. It feels like Villa put a new angle out every hour or so, and honestly, I just can't get enough. Looking at all the players' reactions, I can't decide still who my favourite player's reaction was. The Arsenal players' reactions as well. I think David Raya has to take top spot with banging the surface. Looked like he was going into a bit of front stroke there in Arteta's tears, maybe. It was absolutely majestic. Watched it back so many times. It was just beautiful. What an afternoon's viewing at Villa Park. What a spectacular last-minute victory that was. So happy for that man, Emi Buendia, come up clutch again. A fantastic victory and a fantastic performance for Aston Villa, who thoroughly deserved all 3 points for me. What a majestic afternoon it was, just brilliant. 2 days on from it now, just can't get enough of talking about it. Like, I'm sure you've all consumed hours of content already listening to it, listening to what people have had to say after that. Arsenal fans, Villa fans, neutrals, whoever, just keep consuming it because it was just such a good feeling, wasn't it? And that's why I'm going to talk about it again because, like I say, it's just been such a good couple of days. Still buzzing here on Monday afternoon now, just so happy with that performance and that victory and how things are going for Aston Villa at the moment. I know a lot of Arsenal fans will try and be like, "Oh, you're celebrating like you've won the league. Look how big it is to beat Arsenal." Like, yeah, whatever. I don't care who would have beaten the last minute like that, last kick of the game. If it was, I don't know, Bournemouth or Man U or Blues, whoever, I'd have been going absolutely mental regardless of who it was. It happened to be Arsenal. Yes, Arsenal currently the best team in the league. So if they want to take that as a big compliment that we got so excited about it, then happy for you to do so. But listen, it didn't matter who it was against. It was just a stunning victory. And just the excitement around Villa, regardless of anyone else. I don't really care about any other club. It's the excitement around us at the moment. It fired us to second just for an hour or two at least. Now we're still third in the league. Just the buzz around Villa Park, the run that we've been on. No one can take that away from us, and no one can take that moment away from us. It's very, very rare you get a moment in a game, like I say, against anyone where you just know you've won. It's the last kick of the game. That's the day done. And there's your 3 points in the bag. You can go absolutely mental and celebrate the goal and celebrate the win. Although I was a little bit nervous after going absolutely wild that there might have been a VAR check, but thank God there wasn't. There was absolutely nothing wrong with that goal, and there seemed to be no complaints from the Arsenal players. They knew that there was no issue with it, and the goal was standing. And listen, they were absolutely gutted, weren't they? And understandably so. But it was a good game, not a brilliant game. It was a good game between two very, very good sides. Arsenal, listen, they are a top side. Of course, when you beat a side like Arsenal, it is brilliant. It's a sign of our progression. We love it for Unai Emery to get one over his old side. I know there's a lot of talk about Unai Emery hating Arsenal, this, that, and the other, and him celebrating over the top against them. Again, not the case at all. Unai Emery often gets animated and celebrates goals like that. We saw him against Brighton when he launched his coat. So I think Arsenal fans trying to make it a little bit about them, as they do. They want to make it all about themselves, but it's not. It was all about Villa. Like I say, we went as mental when we beat Brighton the other night. It just happened to be in the last seconds, so it felt extra special at Villa Park in front of that whole 10. But yeah, I do think we thoroughly deserved it, guys. I know some people would argue, again, Arsenal fans would argue they deserved something from it. Again, I think one of the irritations with the Arsenal fan base is they can never really give you much credit. It's always someone else's fault or injury's fault, and fair enough, it was a good time to play them. We all said it. I think I said it on Thursday or Friday whenever I spoke about the game, that it probably was the best time to play them. They've dropped a few points recently. They are missing Gabriel and Saliba, who are two of, if not the best centre-backs in the league. You can't take that away from them. But they do keep telling us, and everyone in the media keeps telling us, how Arsenal have the best squad in the league. They keep banging that drum. So you can't really have any excuses, can you? And look, they still had a lot of quality at their disposal. The likes of Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Trossard, who always seems to get a goal against us. So much talent. They've got Victor Gyökeres on the bench, who cost them, 70, 80 million? I'm not sure what he cost. And you've got a centre midfielder starting over him. They've got a lot of talent, haven't they? Eze as well in the first, who went off at half time, but beating a side with that much talent in its ranks, it is a huge testament to this Villa squad, who couldn't add anything in the summer other than Evan Gasson, Jadon Sancho, a couple of signings in there. Harvey Elliott we haven't seen and won't see, but Villa have done it with the same squad now for a few years. We've probably got weaker from last season, and to keep churning out results like this, and just to be honest, it feels better than ever. I feel like we're as good as ever. There are similarities to this time 2 years ago with how well we were playing, but I feel like this team's got a little bit more grit, a little bit more guile to just grind out results. And the Champions League dream is certainly on. And who knows, we can dream even further. We are well in the title race at the moment, whether people like to admit it or not. People can dumb it down all they like and talk us down all they like, but we are firmly in the hunt at the minute. I'm not saying we're going to win it for 1 second. If I had to put money down, I have to be honest, guys. If you'd have asked me at 2:30 on Saturday, I said, yeah, we're going to win it all. But listen, if I had to put my money down on it, I probably wouldn't. But, we're in with a shout. And if this continues, then we will certainly be in the hunt. But listen, we're going up against sides that have got very deep squads, very deep pockets, and are allowed to spend their money and go again in January too, if needs be. So it's going to be difficult. But look, the Champions League dream, any which way, whether that's for Europa League or the Premier League, that would be a monumental achievement to get back into the Champions League with the summer and start of the season we had. And that looks very realistic. Still a lot of work to do. Tough Christmas period. These first 2 games in December have been tough. Brighton away, Arsenal at home, as tough as it gets. And we've taken maximum points again. So Unai Emery, you have changed my life. What a man. You were just, oh God, I can't speak highly enough of him. What an absolute genius. The way he still hunted those 3 points, didn't he? Still wanted to win that game. He made positive substitutions. And again, I'm not trying to get on Arteta's back, but Arsenal looked like they were happy to take a point. I thought we might have been happy to take a point. I would have been happy to take a point. I was getting a bit shaky, I've got to admit, in the upper Doug Ellis where I sit next to the away fans. And I've got to be honest, there was definitely a lot of secret Arsenal fans up there. There was definitely a few secret Arsenal fans because there was a few skirt off as soon as that goal went in right at the end. And I tell you what, no Villa fan was skirting off. Although if you did go early, what are you doing? Never leave a game early again. Absolutely mental decision. But no Villa fan was leaving when that goal went in the back of the net. So certainly a few secret Arsenal fans in there. But I'm glad they didn't get the day they were hoping for. And again, there was a slight bit of arrogance from their fan base. They did think they were just going to come and win. And as we know, when you come to Villa Park, it's never that simple, is it? And I do think we don't get the respect, the credit we deserve. No one speaks about us. And yeah, people say, oh, you Villa fans moaning again, this, that, the other. And that's fine. We do like a moan sometimes. I like a moan sometimes. But they don't talk about us the way like Man City fans go on like, oh yeah, thanks Villa. It's like we're just cast aside. Like, well, we might be your problem. We've already dealt with you this season. So start noticing Villa, because I tell you what, this team can beat anyone, especially at Villa Park. So let's get into the game. Obviously, we've covered a lot already. I could probably sit here for hours and talk about it. But in terms of the lineup, was there a few surprises in there? Potentially. I think the inclusion of Ian Maatsen at left back was a little bit of a surprise, wasn't it? We probably all expected to see Luca Dean in there for this one, but I think Ian Maatsen played really well. I think his pace, his benefits us. I think I've been calling for it for a few weeks. If you've been watching in on these videos, the few of you that have, I really appreciate. But I've been calling for him. I do like Ian Maatsen. I like what he offers. Okay, might not be as solid at the back as Luca Dean, although I thought he was very good on Saturday. But I do think we need to trust him more. And Unai Emery certainly did that on Saturday and on Wednesday, playing him in 2 very, very big football games. And yeah, I think he repaid his faith there. I thought he was really good. Obviously, Martinez came back in. We were worried that he wasn't going to make it. Listen, we all love Marco Bizot. Marco Bizot is a fantastic second choice option, fantastic goalkeeper. But I did feel with the threat of Arsenal set pieces, a goalkeeper like Emi Martinez who really dominates his box, was really needed for this game, and I thought he was superb too. He loves winding up the Arsenal fans a little bit. I do think there's been games in the past where he's got a bit too emotional, it's got into his head a little bit, and he has seemed to make mistakes or let in goals that he wouldn't usually let in, but he was pretty flawless for me on Saturday afternoon, and that one save he made from Martin Odegaard was absolutely sublime. I don't really think that's got the credit it deserves from any of us, because obviously we're all talking about the goal, we're all busy watching that Buendia goal back 3 billion times. But that Martinez save from that Odegaard, rocket of a shot, that he tipped over the bar, just about got his fingertips to, it was unbelievable. As good a save as you'll see, in my opinion. It was absolutely stunning. And yeah, I don't think enough have really talked about that goal. But centre-back pairing, Consta and Torres, I thought Torres was really good. I think he got the assist, did he? Who put the pass in for... Who put the pass in for Matty Cash? I'm actually sure who put it in. Was it Pau Torres? I think we've watched the Buendia goal back so many times. I haven't watched the Cash goal back as many. But again, I thought Pau Torres was impressive for me. Him and Conso, again, just building up a really good partnership again, aren't they? We was really kind of worried about Pau Torres, thinking he just wasn't the player that he was a couple of years ago when he first came. But yeah, he's really rediscovered himself, rediscovered his form. And Unai Emery, almost like his football dad, fully trusts him, doesn't he? And them two were superb. Matty Cash, we have to talk about Matty Cash. It shouldn't have taken me this long to talk about that man. I still think he's Villa's player of the season so far, and what a season he's having in front of goal as well. I think that's his third goal of the season, is it? Is it his third Premier League goal of the season? What a season that man is having in front of goal. Honestly, I think he's been held back too much over the last few years, because it's always surprised me, because obviously he's been told to play very safe. It's obviously the remit. I know people have criticised him in terms of cutting back, passing it backwards, but it's obviously the remit he was given, because he's been given more licence to get forward this year, and he's more than repaying Unai's faith with that. And never understood why that man gets so much criticism, and a lot of people are swallowing the words, and I think those people that are swallowing the words are very happy to do so. So fair play to Matty Cash, because it does take a lot of mental resilience to come through what he's had to come through with, being the scapegoat a lot of the time, a scapegoat in a really successful team as well, which is just mental too. But listen, he has been fantastic this season. I think he had a chance earlier on in the game. It was from a similar sort of angle, but he put it high, I think, if I remember rightly, and Raya made the save, or it was blocked. I can't quite remember, but I remember saying he should have drilled that low across goal, and that's pretty much what he did for the goal, wasn't it? I know it wasn't particularly a cross goal, it was between Raya's legs, but it was a great strike. Keep it down. It's always hard for the keeper to deal with, and a brilliant strike on his right foot. And yeah, buzzing for him. I love seeing him score, and because he just looks like, when you let an excited dog out into the park, just that's how I would celebrate, even if I play five-a-side now. Just love seeing that ball hit the back of the net and celebrate like a little kid again, and he absolutely loves it, and I just love seeing him score a goal and how excited he gets, and that golf swing celebration, he regains his composure to do that. So yeah, word to Matty Cash, arguably Villa's player of the season so far, but there is a few names in there, and that midfield was really strong again, wasn't it? And he went with that midfield three, almost bolstered it up a little bit with Kamara, Onana and Tielemans in there. And to be honest, I was thinking, I was thinking the other day when I jumped on the previous video for the preview game, I think I said that Onana would probably get dropped, and I just probably had a bit of a mind blank there and thought, well, no, he'll play Tielemans further forward, won't he? Of course, and that's what he did, and that was it was the obvious choice, really. That was me just kind of having a bit of a mind blank there, but that was a really good move by Unai. And to be honest, I haven't always loved Tielemans in the 10 or further forward, but I think he did a good job the other day. I still do prefer him deeper, but honestly, I think that might be the way to go for games now, because you have to kind of get Onana in there. I just think he's a monster in that midfield. And Villa's midfield, I mean, we have to talk about it. Is there many, if any, better midfields in the Premier League? I think it's a monster of a midfield. I mean, Onana and Kamara, just, if you were facing up against that, I think I'd be telling the physio I'm feeling my hamstring this morning, because what a test you've got to face up to there. And Declan Rice, who was a fantastic player himself, and Zubimendi, God, I bet they slept well on Saturday night, or probably didn't sleep, having nightmares of them two, because they were really good. I don't think Onana's match rating really reflects that, but for me, just them two got through so much work. I remember saying to my dad towards the end of the game, I said, Onana or someone in that midfield, Tielemans, is going to have to go off because they have got through a ton of work and they might need some fresh legs in there. But it was just Onana that did depart the pitch, and yeah, a really good performance by Villa's midfield. And we need to bring back that best midfield in the world song and find slightly different lyrics, because I do think it's right up there, and those three players will get into most Premier League teams, in my belief. Forward line though, Rodgers, I thought Rodgers was brilliant. Again, I don't think match ratings really reflect it, but this is why match ratings, they're not always the best thing. We like to use them if we want to have a little slander at a player, don't we? But look, it doesn't always give the best impression. But I thought Rodgers was terrific. The footwork, and he just seems to be getting better and better. And at one point we were thinking, is he a one-hit wonder? Did he have one good season? Has he been figured out a bit? Is his technical ability not great? Wow, what confidence can clearly do for a player, because he has just come back and looks even better. I mean, his footwork, the way he was skipping through players, he did it in previous games, Brighton, Leeds, away. Looks so good, looks so sharp, and his delivery as well at times is superb. And the one he put in for the goal at the end that Sancho got onto, I thought was a really, really good delivery as well, and he just looks so quality. And I think he's making that role for England his own, which is, going to be a lot of stiff competition, but he's the man in form for me at the minute, and he's the man that deserves the shirt, because his Premier League form is reflecting his international form too. John McGinn-like performance. Probably wasn't his best afternoon, but listen, John McGinn, always the 7 out of 10, and just gets through so much work. Love the bloke, spoken up about him every week. And Ollie Watkins led the line. And listen, Ollie Watkins did have a few chances, and I do think he should have got on the score sheet. It almost reminded me at one point of the game last season where Watkins had a couple of sitters, and we ended up paying for it and losing 2-0 in the end. Luckily, it didn't go that way, but it could have ended up costing us. Ollie Watkins missing a few chances, but I do think he occupied their defenders, and I think he did a good job. I do think he led the line well. But despite scoring 2 in the week, his finishing prowess wasn't quite back, was it? But listen, I do think he got through a lot of work and had a really big impact in the game. So, yeah, well done to him. And the subs, it was the subs that won the game, wasn't it? I mean, again, Unai Emery, just the genius, the man that he is, trying to win the game of football, and that's what paid off in the end, wasn't it? He brought Marlon on for Watkins, which I think was the right choice at the time. Sancho came on, which I wasn't expecting to see Sancho come on, to be fair. When he came on, I did say, I have to be honest, I will always hold my hands up when I don't think I've been right. I said, I don't think that was the right call. I actually called for Gesson, and Gesson wasn't even on the bench, so that tells you everything about what I know. But I think he was obviously injured. But yeah, he didn't make the bench, so couldn't have called him on. But that was more because I was thinking hard work, he defends well, let's just grind this point out. But no, Unai Emery should never doubt this Villa team, never doubt Unai Emery. They want all 3 points, and that's what they got. But Sancho came, I thought Sancho had a good cameo, because I do think in previous cameos over the last couple of weeks, I don't think he's not been poor, but I don't know, I think we need to see a little bit more guile, a little bit more determination from him to get his foot in, especially when we bring him on in the last minutes of games to see games out, or grind a result out. We need him to dig in and work hard. But Unai's definitely seeing it, and I do think he had a big impact in that game the other day, and he had an impact in the goal. His header back across goal. It was obviously an absolute scramble from there, but I think he was good. Bogard came on again. Your Swiss Army knife, Lamar Bogarde, as we call him now. Let's remember, it's Lamar Bogarde. I thought he was good as well, and he just play anyway. He's a very useful player. We've seen links with him, links to Brighton this week, haven't we, for Bogarde, and it's going to take some getting used to call him that. I'm not sure I can stick with that. We'll have to call him Lamar, but we can't get rid of him. I think he's got so much potential. I do think, like I say, especially in the Europa, and when the schedule gets really busy, as it already is, like, he's very, very useful player. As it shows, though, he's a man Villa can't lose for me. Definitely not. Wouldn't be entertaining any bids for that man. Lindelof came on too, didn't he? So yeah, we've just beat the league leaders with Lindelof coming on the pitch. And to be fair, we say that we shouldn't really. I feel bad saying that. I shouldn't really make a joke of Lindelof, because he's not. He wasn't even that bad at Man U, to be fair. He's an accomplished player, isn't he? He's a very accomplished player, and he doesn't get much game time. So when he does, it must be hard to be thrown into a game with that intensity towards the end as well. So fair play to Victor Lindelof. I do love you, really, mate. I'm only giving you. I don't really mean to give him any stick. And Emi Buendia, of course, was the match winner in the end, and what an inspired substitute that was. And he was the man I was calling for as well, just because, again, not particularly because I was looking at him to come on and win the game. It was more a case of I'm looking at you to come on and to be busy and be a bit of a rat, which I think he is in a way. And like McGinn, they're not similar players. I'm not saying that, but like they're both just kind of rats, aren't they? They're the type of player, we've all played football before, and you've got one of those lads. I was never kind of that player, but they're just kind of on you all the time. You've got the ball at your feet and they're just ratting around your arse, aren't they? It's like really irritating players. And I do think Buendia is one of those players, isn't he? He's so enthusiastic, so desperate to do well. And that's why I'm so happy for him, because he's just resurrected his Villa career. He was told, we were still trying to ship him out on deadline day, apparently, still trying to find him a home, but he was determined to stay. He probably knows, well, yeah, he will know he's not going to get, it's only down from Aston Villa, isn't it? And he wants to stay, and he knew he could make something if Unai gave him the chance, and he's repaying his faith. I know he's not always going to be the best player on the pitch, and he's not always going to be a 10 out of 10, but he always gives you hard work, he always gives you determination, which I know everyone will say that's the bare minimum for a footballer, but it might be, but we don't always get it, and that man does give you it. So what a player. I do think he's replaced Asensio really well, and I thought, we'll talk about the goal again. I'm not really going in order. I'm going in all over the place, but we all know what happened, so let's just talk about things as it comes. I thought that finish was really good. Again, not to call it underrated, but I think it was under the moment. I just thought he picked his spot so well, because that ball was just pinging around everywhere. I just was like, honestly, I just was like, heart stopped. I was just watching that ball go everywhere, just hoping someone lash it into the back of the net. He had a strike that was blocked brilliantly well from Timber, in fairness, Jurian Timber, who's a really good player, filling in at centre back there. But I thought the chance had probably passed, but Kamara just about rolled it to Buendia, didn't he? And I thought he picked his spot lovely. To put it through a lot of bodies, you've really got to get it through the right spot there, haven't you? Because there's so many bodies in front of it, and David Raya, who's a fantastic keeper, credit to him, but he buried him there, didn't he? And I thought it was a great finish, quite composed in what was a really frantic end to that game. And and then the scenes from there were just goosebumps, weren't they? Honestly, I think that's one of the best Villa Park moments. Arguably the best Villa Park moment I've witnessed. Again, no Arsenal fans, I doubt you're watching this because you lost, but no, not because it was Arsenal, because of the stage of the game and how important it was for us and the run that we were on. It was just emotions, electrified. They would do the same if they'd beat us at that stage at the Emirates, which they might well do in a couple of weeks. I'd challenge any fan base to not go absolutely mental. But you know what football's like nowadays. You either over celebrate or don't celebrate enough. You can't win, can you? So who really gives a toss what anyone says? Anyone thinks it was one of the best moments I've seen at Villa Park, and that will just live long in the memory. People can talk about trophies and all that. Not many teams get the opportunity to win trophies. Hopefully we will. We are a side that definitely can win trophies. But those moments, you can't take those moments away. They're really special moments, and it was just the release of emotion and elation, and everyone just hugging everyone. I'm just hugging literally everyone around me, just going mental. I actually was trying to go mental, but I just ran out of breath. I just remember trying to catch my breath, just going mental. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Utter chaos, utter scenes, and Emi Buendia's celebration was great too. I know people probably wanted him to run to the Holte End, but I think he was going towards his wife and kids, which was quite heartwarming too. You could see the happiness on his face. And Unai Emery, I think that has to be the best reaction, the way he was jumping up and down. It just looked like he was going to take off and go out the roof of Villa Park. He looked like he was going to he looked like he was on a trampoline or something. It was brilliant. And he looked emotional as well. He did look emotional at the end when that went in. And I love how, I think Cash and Rodgers went up to him, and everyone's just fighting for the cause. Everyone's together, aren't they? And you can see how much it meant. And all the subs running on as well. Ollie Watkins, people have always criticised Watkins for not celebrating much unless he's the man that scores, but he was on the pitch as well. John McGinn with his coat unzipped, running on the pitch too, looking like an excited school kid. It was great. It was so good. I will definitely go and watch it back another 30 or 40 times this afternoon as well. Brilliant. Brilliant day at the office, brilliant afternoon. And, you don't always expect much from the 12:30 kickoff sometimes. And but yeah, that was sublime, wasn't it? And wouldn't change anything about it. It was perfect. And coming out of Villa Park as well. Everyone singing, everyone chanting. It was brilliant, wasn't it? So just love seeing Villa Park and Villa fans that happy and that excited. It's brilliant. They're moments to cherish. And what an afternoon. But like I said, I do think we deserved it. I think first half was fairly balanced. I do think we were marginally the better side, had the better of the opportunities. Yes, they had the offside goal that was definitely offside as well. Second half, you have to say, Arsenal for the first 15 or so minutes, they pretty much blew us away. I was, when that goal went in, I thought we're in trouble here. They're in the ascendancy. They're putting a lot of pressure on us. And it felt like the second might have been inevitable, but it just didn't come. And actually, when they got their goal, I thought they stepped off a little bit. I don't know if they stepped off or whether Villa just stepped it back up. Might have given us another tap on the bum to come on and be like, come on boys, get going again. We need something here. We can beat these. And it fired us up, and we got chances. That Marlon one that just drifted wide. There was one that I think it might have been Timber or Hincapié got his foot to, and it just drifted past the post. Watkins had one or two, like we've said. I do think we deserved it on the balance of chances. And if you look at the stats as well, I think the stats back us up. Because look, everyone has been desperate to talk about stats to us. Underlying numbers, unsustainable. You know, everyone's been desperate, haven't they, to tell us about how unsustainable we are and it won't last. And Arsenal fans with this second season Unai thing. I mean, is it his third or fourth season now? Like, honestly, that it's like they just don't have a clue, do they? It's like, you know, this second season Unai, it's in like his fourth season. Like, come on, just give the guy some credit. I think that's why Arsenal fans irritate people, because they just can't give anyone any credit. They hounded Unai Emery out of the place. When, let's be honest, if he was given the time Arteta and resources Arteta had, he'd have delivered 1 or 2 league titles by now. And I know they don't like to admit that, but it's true. I'm sorry. It's just true. And it does look like, I thought they were going to run away with it, and I'm not saying it's going to be us that wins it. I'm just saying I'm not sure they have got the bottle to go and win it. I'm not quite sure. They might, but if they do, it'll be because of a lack of challenge from other teams. Similar to how Liverpool won it last year. I don't think they were brilliant, but I don't know. I think they lack something. I don't know. Arteta again coming to places and looks like he's happy to grind points out rather than go and win. You know, Man City, we beat Man City. They don't moan like little girls a lot of the time. In fairness to them, I'm not Man City's biggest fan either, but they kind of take it on the chin and move on. And if they beat you, you know, they just move on as well. Like, it's just what they do. Arsenal, it's all emotional. It's all on the edge, isn't it? It's always like, you know, desperation almost. I did feel like that was going to change this year, and they might run away with it, but I don't know. And I know they're struggling with injuries, but again, less about them, more about Villa. Let's take a look at those stats. And Arsenal edge possession with 53% of the ball. Okay, that's pretty much equal, isn't it? XG, come on. I'll talk about the XG when we win it, because, you know, everyone wants to keep banging on about XG. I'd never seen an XG table before this season, guys, because Villa are third or fourth in the table. Suddenly, Sky want to show you the XG numbers on everything, which is quite interesting, isn't it? But yeah, Villa's 2.16 XG to Arsenal's 1.92. 15 shots each, 9 shots on target for Arsenal to Villa's 6. 5 big chances missed to Arsenal's 4. So there you go. Big chances missed, 4 to Arsenal's 3. So there you go. There's your underlying numbers. Have some of that, and you still got beat on all the metrics as well. So Villa deserved their victory. Yeah, it was brilliant, wasn't it? And a quick word on the referee as well. I thought the referee was atrocious in the first half. He gave every 50-50 to them. Even if you blew on an Arsenal player, he was going over, wasn't it? It was crazy. I mean, it was bizarre. I do think it evened out a little bit in the second half, to be fair, and was a little bit more balanced. Quick word on the Saka boos as well. Again, I'm saying things that just come into my head. A lot of people going about different reasons Bukayo Saka was getting booed. I didn't feel like the boos were that heavy anyway, but he's going to get booed. One, because he's a big name player. Big name players get booed. That's how it is. He's a good player. Good players get booed. We want to make it difficult for them, and he does have a tendency to roll around and dive a lot and limp a lot. So he does leave himself open to it. So stop being so offended by it. It's football. That happens. Jack Grealish used to get booed all the time when he played for us. We booed him as well. Bukayo Saka certainly isn't the only player we'll boo. I remember Cristiano Ronaldo used to get booed like hell. Luis Suarez, various players, Gerrard, all the fantastic players that have come to Villa Park in the past. I could name hundreds that get booed. It's just football, and they try and make it difficult for them. And I think it worked because he wasn't very good, in my opinion, Bukayo Saka. But yeah, enough about that anyway. Just trying to think if there was anything else. Oh yes, we'll talk about Mr. Martin Keown as well, who you wouldn't have thought played for Villa. Again, I didn't watch, I was at the game obviously, so I didn't watch on TNT, but I have seen enough do the rounds on social media, and he awarded Martin No Shodegaard the Man of the Match award, didn't he? Which is just mental. And to be honest, a lot of people have said Odegaard was terrible. I actually thought he was quite dangerous. I was really worried about his shooting from range, and some of his passing was really incisive too. So I do think he's a quality player, to be fair, although he does spend too much time flicking his hair around, doesn't he? But again, less about that. But he was awarded Man of the Match by Martin Keown. And can we just get out of this habit of awarding Man of the Match before a game finishes? It's just bonkers. Just do it when the game's finished. You can't just, anything can happen in a game that sways it. But even at that point of the game, before the Buendia goal goes in, I don't think Odegaard was Man of the Match. Definitely not. I do think there was probably another Arsenal player or two that were better than him. Although he was good, like I say, I don't think he was Man of the Match. I thought Rice was probably better for me. But Man of the Match, God, I think there was 3 or 4 to pick from for Villa, which I find it so bizarre. But Martin Keown is so biased. I don't know if you've heard him on TalkSport as well. And Simon Jordan really does rattle his cage sometimes. But he's so biased, it's crazy. And like I say, he did play for Villa over 100 times too, which makes it, not bizarre, but you'd think he'd have a little bit more respect for Villa. But of course, he's beloved Arsenal, isn't it? So he can't see through those red-tinted spectacles, can he? And you might say no, but you can't see through your claret and blue ones. But I'm not paid thousands and thousands of pounds by TNT to be balanced, am I? So if they want to, then I can try, but I doubt that's going to happen. But yeah, for me, there was various Villa players that could have been awarded it. Boubacar Kamara, I think probably had it. I'd say it's close. So I think Morgan Rogers was brilliant. Tielemans just gets through so much work. I mean, remember when Leicester fans said he was unfit? What? Crazy. But yeah, I think he was up there. Then 3, Matty Cash too. Oh, there's so many. But I think I'm probably going to have to go with Kamara. I know people say Buendia, and listen, give it Buendia if you want to give it Buendia. No arguments from me, but I still think you have to give it to one of those boys that put in a 90-minute shift or put in a big shift there, because that was a grueling 90-odd minutes and a really hard-fought victory over 90-plus minutes. And it wasn't just about that one moment, as good as it was. It was a very well-rounded performance against a side that's only lost once in the all competitions this season. Which again, they beat Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich had been flattening everyone this season. Arsenal beat Bayern Munich, I think, last week or a couple of weeks ago. Arsenal have been pretty much flawless this season until the last few weeks. So, it just says everything about what a fantastic victory that was. I think that's everything covered from the game. Again, I could sit here and just talk about it just all day because it was that good and that special. But we'll move on. We'll move on to Thursday night's action now, isn't it? It's time for the Europa League. I can hear that Europa League anthem in my head. I won't prepare to do it. Pretend to replicate it, but I can hear it going off in my head. And yeah, exciting now. I love a bit of Europa League. I love the Thursday. I do love that Thursday-Sunday balance. I feel like it gives me a bit of organisation for the week. I don't know why, but it just feels like it does. That Thursday, Friday reaction, then game Sunday. But it's another big week for Villa on the road. This time, 2 games on the road. But Villa have shown they can win on the road now with that win against Brighton. But yeah, bring it on. We've got Basel this week then. So a trip to Switzerland. If any of you are going, have a fantastic trip. It'll be a very expensive one, I'm sure, just before Christmas. But listen, I'm sure it's worth every penny watching the mighty Villa on the road. And we're going to win this Europa League. So yeah, let's... Sorry. Let's go. I'm getting too excited. But yeah, Basel, let's take a look at them. They're currently 24th. They're occupying that final qualification spot in the Europa League currently, with 2 wins from 5, 3 defeats. And how are they getting on in the Swiss League? They won over the weekend, 2-1 away at Winterthur. Never heard of them before. Currently 3rd in the Swiss Super League behind two teams I've never heard of. Young Boys are 1 point behind them, and they were useless. So hopefully this is another win away for Villa in Europe. I do think if we're going to want to get that top 2 spots to secure those those return legs at Villa Park, I think we're probably going to have to go and win all 3, which is easier said than done, especially when you might rotate a little bit in Europe, and we've got to go somewhere like Fenerbahce, which feels like it is the Lions' den, that place. I mean, that will be a tough place to go. But I do feel like Villa probably need to get maximum points to do that. Look, if we don't do it, it's not the end of the world. I don't think we'll need all 3 wins to get into the top 8. We could probably afford to drop a point or 2 somewhere. But fingers crossed we can go and get maximum. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know much about Basel. I know absolutely nothing about them other than Shaqiri used to play for them. I don't know if he still does. Have we signed anyone from Basel in the past? I'm not quite sure. But yeah, again, big game in Europe. Absolutely love the Thursday night action. So bring that on. And then West Ham on Sunday. And we'll talk about that game on Friday once the... So a bit of a match reaction on Friday to the Basel result, and then a preview to West Ham on Friday. And I think that's pretty much everything. We'll leave it there. Like I said, I've rambled on again for a good, I don't know how long this has been, but could keep going for hours, like I keep saying. But I've got stuff to do this afternoon. I've got to go back and watch that Buendia goal again for another 50 times in the next few hours. So yeah, as always, guys, thanks for watching. If you have got this far, appreciate all the support on different platforms, as always. And if you have got anything to say, drop a comment below, and always appreciate that. And as always, we'll end it with a big fat up the Villa.